Hello, you're listening to the Ace Up Your Sleeve podcast. My name is Reichen Young, president of the Acting Company for Excellence and host of the Ace Up Your Sleeve podcast. Today, we are talking to Bethany Bourland, program director for NTPA Dallas. Miss Bethany has been a president director on the NTPA team for 3 years. She has also led the ACE program, Page to Stage, and directed some of the best performances to hit the NTPA stage. Miss Bethany is an instructor at the NTPA Academy Conservatory and director of NTPA's Collegiate Pursuits Program. Welcome, Miss Bethany!
Hi, guys. I'm super excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Always. And now is the question portion of our little podcast. All right, so 1. A lot of theater kids are homeschooled, and I know you were homeschooled too. What are your thoughts on a homeschool path for theater kids?
Gosh, I think a homeschool path for theater is so good. It allowed me to be able to spend so much of the time, that extra time that homeschoolers are lucky to have.
Yes.
Doing what I really wanted to do and really honing my theater skills in high school, which a lot of people don't get to do. I got to perform professionally as a high schooler in daytime productions for youth theater, which is how I got into TYA, which is what Theater for Young Audiences stands for. And so through that, I found a whole passion for working with children through theater. And so I think that there's just a lot of opportunities with the open schedule of a homeschooler that allows them to engage in the theater.
Wonderful. What inspired you to become a director?
That's a multifaceted question. When I was figuring out what I wanted to do when I graduated, I knew I wanted to do something in the theater because I loved it so much, but thinking through the theater process, I thought about what my favorite parts were. And while a lot of people's favorite part is the performance, or even the auditions, mine was always rehearsal. Rehearsal is what I lived for, and working continuously on the script and on the scenes. And it was never music rehearsal, and it was never choreography rehearsal. That was not where my prime was. It was working on scenes. And while I didn't feel like I had the language that equipped me to do directing yet, I knew that, like, as a performer, you have to love auditioning and you have to love performing. But really what I was all about was that rehearsal process. So, and then of course, through the theater that I worked in, I was always interning and, assistant, interning shows and whatever, and helping out wherever I could. And so I got to be in the room with people younger than me. And so I always loved working with kids and directing through that.
Now, tell us about the Collegiate Pursuits Program. How did the program come about, and what skills do you hope it gives students?
So the Collegiate Pursuits Program came about because one area where we felt like we could do better at NTPA was we support you all the way through elementary, junior high, and high school, and then we go, well, I don't know what to do from here, so good luck, but we hope you do great. So the purpose of the Collegiate Pursuits Program is through productions and classes and workshops and training that we better prepare you for that bridge from high school to college, or to the professional world if that's what you choose to do. And so our focus is really just on making sure that these students feel carried along to that really scary step of college. And so the skills that we hope that they have is a really good idea of what the professional world of theater looks like while they're in high school, so they know, hey, do I actually want to do this? And is this something I could see myself doing? We also hope that they have the skills of, feeling equipped to audition for colleges and that whole scary process, that they feel like they have the tools they need to succeed there and feel confident in that process as much as you can, because it's big.
Yes, I love that. Now, if you could give one piece of advice to kids who want to pursue theater as a career, what would it be?
I would have to say something that I didn't learn until later, and I wish I'd lived by all along, is that trust that it is your journey and your journey alone, and that it doesn't need to look like anybody else's. I think we spend a lot of the times looking over to the left and right and going, what are they doing? How do I emulate that career? How do I be more like that person? But at the end of the day, it's about owning who you are as a person and as an artist, and acknowledging where you are in your journey, and knowing that it will always look different from somebody else's. But if you're busy trying to do someone else's path, you'll never live out your own purpose and story. So I think it's just that don't worry what other people are doing. Stay on your straight and narrow path, and be confident that you'll find your way.
Wonderful. What is the funniest moment you've ever encountered during a show?
Oh, well, personally, they say that, tragedy plus time equals comedy.
Yes.
So my very first show I ever did, and it was opening night, I really had to go to the bathroom. And so the other people in my scene with me were like, "You've got plenty of time, Bethany. You've got this." But we were at a theater very small, and we you had to run outside and around the front of the building. So imagine going outside of the entire theater and going around. So I'm running in my character shoes. I've got this. I'm going to the bathroom, and from the bathroom, I hear my scene going on, and I was like, "Oh no!" And I'm hearing people fill in my lines, and I'm hearing people fill my solos. So that was not hilarious in the moment, but I do look back and I really appreciate that moment happened, because everyone starts somewhere. But the other thing that's happened at NTPA that is one of my favorite from a show I've directed is during Tuck Everlasting, during the pivotal scene where Man in Yellow is threatening to kill Winnie Foster. Spoiler alert. Oops. We've done it so many times. They all know. But there was a fish left on stage from the previous scene. And so this fish is present and it's starting to get kicked around. And it's a very serious moment, but this fish is on stage. And so we have this joke now with the people who run that cast, which we just call Fish on Stage. And then we try to accomplish Fish on Stage in other shows secretly. So yeah, it was a great moment that in the moment I was like, "Oh, I'm so embarrassed." But looking back, it's pretty hilarious.
Amazing. And now, Miss Bethany, is the portion of the Ace Up Your Sleeve podcast where we ask every guest the same 5 quick questions. You must answer every question quickly and without explanation. Are you ready?
Yes.
Alrighty, and number 1, what was the name of the first show you performed in?
Beauty and the Beast Jr.
What is your favorite show?
Company.
What is your favorite role?
Pennywise in Urinetown.
What is your dream role?
Mrs. Lovett and Sweeney Todd.
What is your favorite candy?
Sour Patch Kids.
Wonderful. I love those.
So good.
Oh, they're amazing.
Anything sour.
Yes. Thank you so much, Miss Bethany, for talking with us on our Ace Up Your Sleeve podcast. And until next time, I'm Reichen Young. Remember, you always have a winning hand with an ace up your sleeve. The Ace Up Your Sleeve podcast is brought to you by the students of the Acting Company for Excellence at North Texas Performing Arts. This podcast was created by Reichen Young, with sound design and editing by Latham Young. Faculty supervision is provided by Hannah Brewer. NTPA is a nonprofit organization dedicated to developing the character of youth through quality performing arts education and family entertainment. Learn more about upcoming programs and events at ntpa.org.